Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. It is Monday, June 5th. My name is Alan, and I want to welcome you to my Spiritual Growth Through Recovery podcast. The purpose of these videos is to grow my spirituality by following the AA program of recovery, and I do that the best I can by being honest, vulnerable, and accountable, which is why I make these videos. Forces me to put some work in, all right? I'm no expert in AA or spirituality or recovery. I'm just trying to live life on life's terms and do it sober. So the recipe we follow here is you read the daily reading out of the AA Daily Reflections book. There is a link in the description if you'd like to follow along, and I'll just share my take on the reading as well as usually some other subject. All right, cool. Hope you had a good weekend, and let's get busy. So today's topic is going to be entirely ready and the idea of surrender. All right, June 5th. Entirely ready. This is a step that separates the men from the boys. The difference between the boys and the men is the difference between striving for a self-determined objective and for the perfect objective which is of God. It is suggested that we ought to become entirely willing to aim towards perfection. The moment we say no, never, our minds close against the grace of God. This is the exact point in which we abandon limited objectives and move toward God's will for us. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 63, 68, and 69. Am I entirely ready to have God remove these defects of character? Do I know at long last that I cannot save myself? I have come to believe that I cannot. If I am unable, if my best intentions go wrong, if my desires are selfishly motivated, and if my knowledge and will are limited, then I am ready to embrace God's will for my life. I really like this. Step 6 and Step 7 are probably some of my favorites because they really ring home to me more than anything else. Where it talked about, this is the step that separates the men from the boys. I'll never forget the first time I read that. I'm like, whoa, okay, it's a big deal, right? Become entirely willing. That's a big step. The moment we say no, never, our minds close against the grace of God. This kind of came right here. This is the moment right here that I kind of realized there's no more excuses. I'm no longer ignorant. It's on me. There's no more, my parents did this, so-and-so did that, poor me. I need to become willing. It's obvious. Just don't want to close the door, all right? Am I entirely ready? That's the definition of willingness, entirely ready, all right? Do I know at long last that I cannot save myself? I will sit here and tell you, yes, it's obvious, but my actions tell me a little slightly different thing. And what in my past has really proved to me that I got this thing? I should be able to follow my own path. So I don't, right? I just don't. And it talks about I cannot. My desires are selfishly motivated, and my knowledge and will are limited. I got my ego deflated. So, good stuff there. So I thought about a good topic would be surrender. And what does that mean? And so some definitions I had was to cease resistance to an enemy or opponent, stop fighting what we can't control, completely give up our own will, and subjects our thoughts, ideas, and deeds to the will of a higher power. It's a choice, and it's positive, okay? What it's not is being weak, okay? So why is surrendering important? I think it shows courage, right? And it's an acknowledgement of our limitations. It's important because how much time and energy do we waste on things that we really can't control? And we should just let them go and surrender them. That's wasted time, right? When we finally acknowledge we can't do it, we give ourselves the opportunity to feel the river of life carry us. We just go with the flow instead of trying to, fight the whole way down the river. One of the AA paradoxes says we surrender to win. Just let it go, man. Let it go. So why don't we? Why won't we surrender? We're stubborn and prideful. We don't like giving up control. We're afraid of what God might ask us to do. I don't think we trust God. I know I don't. We're in bondage to some sinful habit, and Satan's working, whether you believe in Satan or not. The sinful habits are real, in my opinion. It's too hard, or we don't know how. We're unaware of the rewards. And I think we can also be unaware of what's at stake if we don't surrender. We can convince ourselves it's worth the fight, right? Now, if we choose not to surrender, I think we just waste our time and energy. Wasted. Live a shallow, meaningless life, devoid of God and apart from Him. Just on our own, self-reliant. And just look at our past. I'll continue to be selfish, irritable, selfish, resentful, discontent, at disease. So how can we learn to surrender more? I think if we find a way to get a better understanding of what our higher power is, who He is, and who we're surrendering to. I mean, do we really trust in our higher power? I mean, can't be any worse than us, right? Managing our lives. Accept our position in relation to God, realizing that self-reliance got us here. At some point, we got to step out in faith. Try it, see what happens. If it works out, try it again. Pray and ask us this higher power to please help me become willing. Work in the steps when we start to see the results, right? And getting involved in the program. See it work through other people. Ultimately, we get to decide, have we had enough yet? Have we been beaten down enough yet? So those are my takes on surrender. Just want to encourage you to look at yourself. Are you ready to surrender certain things that you're fighting? You're not willing to let go? You don't want to go with the flow? Be like water? If you find yourself there, I don't know, maybe it might be worth surrendering. All right. Anyway, I hope you got something out of it. I know I certainly do. I do every time. And I'll be back tomorrow for another video. So until then, peace out.